Welcome to the deep dive. You know that feeling, right?
Mhm.
When it's like you're just bombarded with information, especially when you're trying to figure out this whole starting a business thing.
It can be overwhelming.
Today, we're taking a deep dive into the world of entrepreneurship.
That's right.
But get this, we're heading to Spain
Virtually, of course.
to learn from an amazing woman named Vero, a Spanish woman who took that leap and built her own successful business.
And what I find so fascinating about Vero's story is it's not like those overnight success stories you hear about all the time.
Right.
It's a journey, real struggles, those
Okay.
moments of self-doubt and a lot of resilience.
I love that. And it's that human experience that we really want to unpack today.
Definitely.
So forget those stuffy business plans and marketing strategies for a second, because we're diving into the heart of what it really takes to build something from scratch.
Absolutely.
We've got Vero's first-hand account from her podcast, where she really opens up about the ups and downs of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And she starts by tackling the very definition of entrepreneurship.
Well, she kind of pokes fun at the Royal Spanish Academy's definition.
Okay.
Finds it a bit too formal.
You know, I can relate to that. Those dictionary definitions can feel so out of touch sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Vero's take is much more about taking action, you know?
Okay.
It's about designing, launching, growing a business, starting small, embracing the unknown.
I love that. And that perfectly describes Vero's story, actually.
It does.
She was living in the U.S., working incredibly hard,
Right.
but she was stuck in that paycheck-to-paycheck cycle.
Yeah.
Can you give us a glimpse into what her life was like back then?
So imagine juggling multiple jobs, constantly hustling for tips, never knowing what your schedule's going to look like from week to week. It was a grind.
Exhausting, yeah. But this is where Vero's entrepreneurial spirit really starts to shine through.
Absolutely.
Instead of focusing on the hardship, she saw opportunity.
She did. And while some might have spent their breaks complaining, Vera was busy investing in herself.
What do you mean?
She knew that improving her English skills would open doors for her down the line.
Smart. She instinctively knew knowledge is power.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a sudden aha moment where she decided to become an entrepreneur.
Not at all. It was a series of sparks along the way.
Okay.
Less about some grand business plan and more about recognizing those everyday needs,
Okay.
those little gaps, and finding ways to fill them.
Give me an example. What kind of needs did she pick up on?
Well, one thing she noticed was that hotel guests often had trouble with the language barrier.
Right. Makes sense.
And being fluent in both Spanish and English, Vero started offering translation services.
So smart.
Yep.
Just using her skills to help others and earning some extra income on the side. Did she have any other side hustles going on at the time?
Oh, she had a few. There's this great story she tells about a client who was craving a specific type of strong Spanish coffee.
Okay.
And Vero, never one to back down from a challenge, took it upon herself to recreate that authentic taste.
She saw a need and filled it, turning a simple coffee order into a potential business opportunity. It's brilliant. It shows her resourcefulness
Absolutely.
and that ability to spot those untapped needs that others might overlook.
Exactly. It's that entrepreneurial spirit, seeing possibilities where others see obstacles.
Exactly. But let's be real, not every side hustle turns into a successful business. I'm guessing Vero faced some roadblocks along the way.
Oh, definitely. She hit her fair share of setbacks. Yeah, one of the biggest hurdles came in the form of a wrist injury.
Oh, no?
Probably from all those physically demanding jobs.
Right.
It really slowed her down.
Wow. Injuries are tough. They really make you rethink things, especially when you're already juggling so much.
It was a difficult time for her. But sometimes those setbacks lead to unexpected opportunities.
Okay, this is where things get interesting. What changed for Vero during her recovery?
Well, when she couldn't work those physically demanding jobs anymore, she finally had time to think, reassess her goals. Her friends had always encouraged her to teach Spanish, said she had a knack for it.
They saw that teacher in her.
They did. And during her recovery, that spark started to grow. She decided to develop her teaching skills, even though it meant stepping into a whole new world.
That takes guts, especially after a setback. But I'm betting those doubts crept in, right?
Of course.
The fear of failing, the fear of not being good enough.
She talks about battling syndrome del imposter syndrome.
Oh, I know that feeling. Like you're a fraud even when you're not. I can only imagine how intense it gets when you're starting a business.
It definitely adds another layer of pressure. And Vero mentions those backhanded compliments that would make her question everything. Those remarks that sound supportive on the surface.
Oh, I've heard those. It's like, good for you, but I wouldn't try that.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're trying to dim your shine.
How did Vero handle those comments? Did she let them get to her?
She realized to succeed, she had to be her own cheerleader.
Right.
She had to trust her gut, even when others doubted her vision.
It's about having that unwavering belief in yourself, that inner strength. Did she struggle with any other fears besides the imposter syndrome?
Interestingly enough, she also mentions syndrome de Jonas, the Jonah complex.
The Jonah complex. Okay, you've lost me. What's that all about?
It's the fear of success, that fear of what might happen if you achieve your dreams.
Like that saying, be careful what you wish for. Maybe it's the fear of responsibility or the pressure that comes with success.
Exactly. Vero's story really highlights how entrepreneurship is about navigating your inner world just as much as the external world of business.
So true. It's like you're building a business while facing your inner critic at the same time. So how did she deal with that? What helped Vero overcome those internal obstacles like imposter syndrome and that fear of success?
She really believes in seeking guidance from people who have been there.
Finding mentors who can offer support and advice based on their experience.
Exactly. She talks about connecting with a successful businesswoman online, someone who had built a thriving language teaching business. This mentor helped Vero with all the practical stuff like setting up her business, marketing, pricing, creating courses.
It's amazing how a mentor can validate your ideas and make you feel like you're on the right track.
It's invaluable, especially early on.
Did she have any other strategies for dealing with those internal hurdles?
She did. She focused on 5 key takeaways that really helped her. She calls them her 5 pillars for success.
Okay, I love a good framework. Break them down for me. What's the first pillar?
Focus on the facts. Vero emphasizes separating those stories we tell ourselves from the actual evidence.
So look at your accomplishments, your skills, your progress objectively, without the self-doubt.
Exactly. The next pillar is acknowledging your feelings without letting them control you.
So it's okay to feel those doubts and fears,
It is.
but don't let them hold you back.
That's right.
Okay, what's next?
Sharing your experiences with people who get it. Vero found it incredibly valuable to connect with other entrepreneurs.
The power of community, it makes such a difference.
Definitely. And while community is crucial, Vero also stresses finding a mentor, someone who can offer that one-on-one guidance.
Find your people and find a mentor. I love it. What's the final pillar?
Celebrate your accomplishments, no matter how small they seem. Give yourself credit.
Yes. It's so easy to just keep moving on to the next thing without acknowledging how far we've come.
It is.
Okay, so we've got Vero. She's got her 5 pillars, her amazing mentor, but she's still working those tough jobs.
Right.
What was that turning point that made her finally take the leap into teaching Spanish full-time?
There's this story she tells about a really frustrating experience while working at a hotel.
Okay, tell me everything.
She describes it as descubrir el pastel, discovering the cake.
Discovering the cake. I'm intrigued. What cake are we talking about?
Well, she discovered that her boss, the one who was supposed to have her back, was actually pocketing the tips that were meant for her.
Oh, wow. Not cool. A real breach of trust right there.
It was a wake-up call for her, but instead of getting discouraged, she used it as fuel.
That's our Vero, turning a negative experience into a learning opportunity.
Exactly. This experience taught her the value of self-reliance, advocating for herself, being more atrevida.
What does atrevida mean?
It means daring or bold. Basically not being afraid to stand up for what's right.
I love that. So not just working hard, but being smart, knowing her worth.
That's exactly it. It was this experience that finally pushed her to take that leap of faith. Tirar la piscina.
Tirar la piscina. Okay, I need a translation for that one.
It means to throw oneself into the pool.
Oh, I like that. To just dive in head first. And that's precisely what she did, launching her own online teaching business.
She did.
No.
And she did it while navigating a new culture, a new language, and all those internal doubts. It really speaks volumes about her resilience and her determination.
She sounds incredible.
It's inspiring, right? Her story.
It is. It really makes you rethink that whole entrepreneurial journey.
It's easy to get caught up in the idea that it's this big, grand thing
Right.
reserved for a select few. But Vero reminds us that it's often those small, everyday acts of courage.
Yeah.
The problem-solving, the aha moments
Right.
that can lead to something amazing.
It's about taking action even when it feels small.
Exactly.
I mean, who would have thought that making a special coffee for a client would lead to
Right?
Vero's incredible journey?
Right.
It's like it was meant to be.
It speaks to the power of paying attention.
Yeah.
Vero was tuned in to the needs around her. Even in ordinary situations, it really makes you think.
It does.
What everyday problems do we encounter that we could turn into opportunity?
Right. What pastel is out there waiting to be discovered
Exactly.
if we just open our eyes
Yeah.
and really pay attention?
It's about seeing challenges as possibilities, embracing that uncertainty, that tirar la piscina spirit.
I love that. And speaking of embracing the journey,
Yeah,
Vero's story is full of those colorful Spanish expressions.
absolutely. We talked about descubrir el pastel,
Yeah.
ser muy corante, and tirar la piscina. But there's one more I want to mention. Quedarse a gusto.
Quedarse gusto. That sounds lovely. What does it mean?
It means to feel content,
Okay.
at ease, satisfied, and I think it reflects Farah's whole approach to life.
Yeah, it's about finding that joy in the process, even when things are tough. It's
Exact.
about pursuing your passions, but also savoring the journey.
I think that's the biggest lesson we can take from Vero's story.
I agree. This deep dive has been amazing. Vero's story is a great reminder that entrepreneurship isn't just about building a business.
Right.
It's about personal growth, resilience, and embracing those moments of inspiration.
Absolutely.
And who knows, maybe a little quedarse a gusto is the secret ingredient to it all.
Maybe so.
Until next time, deep divers, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep.